Šis ir pieci.
9:33 minūtes, piekdien, 21. februārs, un mums ir īpašs ciemiņš Latvijas radio 9. studijā Pieci Rīti 5 LV. Mums ir liels prieks sveikt ciemiņu, kurš ir ieradies par godu idejas Latvijai, jauniešu fórumam Latvija, tā kādu es vēlos Latvijā. Tas notiks rīt un parīt, un fórumā piedalīsies 50 jaunieši ar savām idejām straujam un dinamiskam izrāvienam Latvijas izaugsmē. Singapūras Globālā līderības foruma vadītājs Lovs Sjevs Thiams palīdzēs attīstīt šīs idejas, lai jaunieši varētu tās prezentēt žūrijai, kur darbosies izcils personības no dažādām jomām, un labākās idejas ir paredzēts iesniegt Latvijas valdībai un par tām publiski diskutēt. Un es saku labrīt šodien Latvijas goda konsulu Singapūrā, padomniekam Lovs Sjevs Thiamam. Good morning, Lov.
Good morning.
Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Well, yes and no, but don't worry, I'll accept the name as you pronounce it.
So what are you doing here, Lo?
I'm here because I'm teaching at Turiba University a course on East Asian business, so that to familiarize Latvia with the opportunities that are opening up in East Asia for business. Okay. So that I hope that many of the youth of Latvia will take the opportunity to lock on to the booming market in Asia.
Okay, advisor to honorary consul of Latvia. That's your job.
Job. That's my son's job. I'm only his advisor.
Okay. But how you heard about? Can you remember how you heard about Latvia for the first time, and how you get involved with Latvia?
Okay, it started when I'm a management consultant, and I have a client in Sri Lanka who happened. Thomas Dykewiller is his name, and he's a Swiss, but he's the honorary consul for Latvia in Sri Lanka. And the foreign ministry here asked him to look for someone in Singapore. So he asked me to search for a good person to be the honorary consul, and of course I selected my son.
Okay, and what are the bases of Singapore's success story?
Singapore's success story is based on the development of people. As I like to say, when you get rich through resources, it only lasts for so many years, and then the resources run out. But when you develop your people, it goes on forever, because education is something that the people who of Chinese descent, who are the majority in Singapore, believe in. And once you educate the people, you can't take it away from them. The knowledge, the abilities, the processes are all embedded in their minds, and they can grow with it.
To be honest, we don't have those skyscrapers you have in Singapore, but still, we really think that Latvia already is a success story. But what are the key points we as a nation or as a country should do to make Latvia even better success story?
Well, I think that you must ask your youth, what do they want out of life? And that's why I'm here to conduct the youth forum, to help them find out to ask them what they really want for Latvia. So, it's good to be happy with where you are, but of course you understand that where you are only about 1/3 the level of where the Germans are, and the rest maybe the developing countries are. So, but you are young enough to catch up. And I don't see why you cannot catch up, because everywhere I go here, I'm impressed with Latvian sophistication, and that you are as good as any other groups in Europe, and I don't understand why your GDP per capita is so much lower than the rest of Europe.
Okay.
Yeah. Singapore's history is a little bit similar to Latvia's because of the like British
colonialism, and
yes.
we were founded by the British.
Yes. And when Singapore became an independent country, what was the turning point for this investing in people? How does it started? What was the like?
It started because the young people of Singapore in their 20s at that time, the leaders of Singapore in their 20s at that time,
the leaders of the country,
decided that look, we can do a better job than the British. And so how do we do it when we have no resources? We are a tiny speck. So you have 65,000 square kilometers of land. We have 580 at the time we started. Now we have 700 square kilometers because we expanded by reclamation from the sea. And we say that we only expanded because our 700 square kilometers, that is at low tide, because when the tide rises, we are smaller.
Okay. Well, what about the climate? Well, in Singapore, it's often sunny and warm, but here we are facing cold and dark weather now in Latvia. And what we should do about that?
Well, I think cold and dark is great for working.
Thank you very much.
And if we did not have air condition in Singapore, we would not have got to where we are, because the tropical heat would have defeated us.
Okay.
Because you remember that before air conditioning, the tropics were a place for lolling in the sun and doing nothing and relaxing. So the development usually came in the countries which are slightly colder and where the less humidity and less enervating, because tropical sunshine can weaken you very much.
Okay. If I will go to Singapore one day by any chance, what are the top 3 things or places, or I don't know, what I have to see, visit? Tell me.
Well, they tend to be more man-created than natural. If you want nature, you go to big countries like Indonesia and Malaysia and Thailand. But the man-created things that are impressive in Singapore, one is we have a night safari.
Ooh.
So that where you can see the animals enjoying themselves and feeding at night, and they are moving about. It's unlike a zoo in the sense that when you go to a zoo in the daytime, they are sleeping.
Ooh.
The animals are sleeping. Yeah. So at night they are moving about to eat. So you can see them feeding and you can see them moving, and you can come very close to them because there are security glass that separates you, so that you're almost right close to a tiger or a lion.
Wow.
So it's exciting in that way. The other attraction is again a man-created. We have the wonderful bird park.
Bird park.
And that again, the birds are in the huge aviary so that they're flying around in nature, so you can walk among them in the jungle condition.
Cool.
Right. So what else is there to see? We can, of course, go and look at all the high-rise buildings.
I will probably go to Fusion Jazz Festival. I have heard about the Fusion Jazz Festival that takes place in Singapore. But I wanted to ask about music, because before the interview I was asking you what's the most popular band in Singapore, and then you said that well, actually there's no music scene in Singapore. Can you tell us why?
Well, because we are too busy making money. So, of course, the young go for things like K-pop. K-pop is very, very popular because this is an Asian wave, so to speak. First there was J-pop, now K-pop.
Okay.
And but don't ask me too much because I don't know very much about what happens in the young scene.
Okay. Are there any international exchange projects you know about that are available between Latvia and Singapore? For example, if we would like to go to Singapore to just visit some radio stations, can we make it happen?
Maybe you should write in and we try, because the Singapore government is very generous with inviting foreigners to come and do training courses. And in the last year, there must be at least about 6 or so from your civil service who go from Latvia to Singapore to attend management training courses, from HR to investment policies and all that. They come from Latvia to Singapore. The government funds most of these courses, except for the airfare, which you have to pay yourself, but everything else is.
So you just have to
in Singapore.
You just have to Google Singapore exchange.
Yeah, sure. You go to your foreign ministry, maybe that might help.
What's the clock right now in Singapore? It's 9:42 in Riga in the morning. What's the time in Singapore?
6 hours ahead. So now it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I suppose. 3:30 p.m.
Yeah. So. Doesn't this sound like a plan, Daira? We could start our breakfast show. If we would broadcast from Singapore, we would start at 1 o'clock in the morning. in 1 p.m.
So don't tell me about it because I'm all confused.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming here, and I wish you a pleasant next 2 days. Yeah, Aldi?
About tomorrow's lecture. Your Idejas Latvijai forums, idejaslatvijai.lv. And you're giving a speech there. What is it about in a few words?
I will help them to develop their own vision of what Latvia is going to be like when they grow up. So if they're in their 20s now, you see, when I was very impressed with the fact that your ministers are in their late 30s or 40s. We have received many of them in Singapore. The economics minister, previous economic minister Daniel Pavlos, your foreign minister Edgar Rinkevich, all have been to Singapore. Your finance minister has been to Singapore. So now we are waiting for your presidential visit. But I think that you have a young nation who is very feel that you can do great things because you're young. And so now we must look to your youth to develop what is their vision of the future. Certainly, this all started because some parents had expressed concern that too many young people in Latvia were leaving the country for high salary jobs in the rest of Europe or in America. So if you develop as rapidly as Singapore, all right, and one thing that you is the sense is that you must want to develop, and I'm sure that if you, so long as you want to, you get where you want. So it is up to the young to define what they want.
So thank you very much for giving us a hope. We had already some, but now we have even more.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and see you. Bye.